think the first one we're going to do is the Driftless Glen's first marriage. And Driftless Glen is out of Baraboo, Wisconsin. They broke ground in 2012 and really started distilling in 2014. They opened a restaurant there in 2015, and that's when Renee and Brian Bemis bought out one of the original partners. And they kind of figured that was their starting point for the distiller. Was really kind of more 2015 once they had everything kind of set and moving, which I agree with. It's first couple of years when you're just putting stuff together, it doesn't really seem like you're kicking anything off until you really get moving. They wanted to be known for their bourbons and ryes, but like everyone knows, those first couple of years you don't have it because you're sitting on the stuff. So they came out with a brandy that won a couple of awards and a barrel-aged gin. Then they also released their young rye, which I and Ed O'Meara over at the Rock Gut Review, I really liked that one for being like 14 months that they had it out there for. It was pretty well developed and didn't have a lot of spiky notes. It had a lot of pickle, a lot of anise, some stuff I'm not even a big fan of, and I actually liked the whole thing. So that was surprising to me. Let's see, now that they're getting about 5 years and a lot of their stuff, they're kind of turning their gears instead of just kind of focusing on their product. They're trying to get more product awareness out there and doing a little bit different stuff with having a lot of in-house radio ads. Like, I usually have people come in for football and stuff like that. They'll have the sports guys come out there and do a show from the distillery and co-collaborations, kind of like the ones we're getting here. And they're also working on, it's coming up, they're going to be selling their spirits online in about 39 states. So they're pushing a big section and a little bit here where some other people are kind of staying a little bit smaller. As far as being going from to selling in 39 states, they're one of the fastest growing companies in the U.S. They were number 316 out of 5,000 on the list last year. And in the last 3 years, their growth was 1,561%. So they've been really skyrocketing as far as expansion, which is actually pretty neat. I wasn't expecting to see something like that, but I knew this past year with how many barrel picks everyone was doing and seeing everywhere that they were heading in that direction. They are a grain to glass distillery like so many of the craft ones we look at on the channel. They have a zero waste distillery. So even some of the alcohol afterwards, they'll kind of refilter it so that it can be used and all the grain goes to cows. And they are in a weird spot in Wisconsin. It's one of the few places where the glacier didn't go through. So it's not super flat like the plains. It is, as they put it, rich with peat bogs. And they also have a great aquifer that they use. Oh, sorry. Let's see here. And then the other weird thing is that they have more of a sandy soil instead of like a rich earthy soil like the rest of Wisconsin. So it gives them a little bit different flavor to it. The one we're going to be drinking is aged 4 years and 3 months. Most of them are about 4 years, and they age them in 25 or 30 gallon barrels, kind of help accelerate that maturation, and also a little bit darker look on a 4-year bourbon than some of the other ones up in Wisconsin. You'll see a little bit lighter. As far as the mash bill on it, this one is a 75% rye and a 25% malted barley. No corn whatsoever in it. And it was picked by, I'm sorry, I forget the place where we got this. Seelbach is basically a group that, not like Single Cask Nation, they are getting awareness out about craft brewers or distillers. Sorry, Jesus. That's what happens when you live in Green Bay with so much breweries around you. Craft distillers. So they'll go out and pick kind of unique barrels like this. The first marriage was 2 barrels they really, really liked, but didn't like enough on their own. And when they put them together, they did, and they let Driftless Glen let them put it out at like that. So that was kind of their co-collaborations where they're doing a lot of stuff like that. Now I'm going to kick it over to you guys because I rambled for about 5 minutes straight, and I'll let you guys see what you think about the nose before I do anything else here.
Something I didn't get before was I'm just getting this waft of hay that I totally did not get that any other time that I tried it. But
I can see that like a green hay, not quite fully dried yet.
Yeah. Not and not green like, you know, the whiskey's too young or anything like that. It's just just that smell, you know, coming through there. It's a little dusty, but and it doesn't to me it doesn't nose or even taste like a really high rye at all.
Nope.
It's not. I mean, and yeah, knowing the mash bill, you know, after tasting, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, because you're, you know, expecting like a Pikesville kick in the mouth or something, and it's totally not it.
No, I'm getting, it's a nice, I mean, it's just very sweet, a little bit of molasses, and then kind of with that hay note, to me, it's almost like a kind of a alfalfa.
Yeah.
I see that, yeah.
Alfalfa hay or alfalfa bells.
And I'm always going to be able to hunt out that anise, even, or like that black licorice smell, no matter what it is in there. Kind of like Eric on a rock cut review. I'm like, yeah, I can find that no matter where it is in there, but it's not a strong one. Like it's just there in the kind of the background, and it's not really too pungent, where sometimes that'll overtake me, because I've never liked black licorice. I've been anti black licorice.
Yeah.
Definitely the molasses, like you're saying, way past like a caramel, like a more thicker, richer flavor from it. I'm also with the alfalfa, I'm getting like almost like a little bit of like a light fruit note.
Yeah, I get apple.
Like I was gonna say like a green apple or a candied apple, or it's got like a little bit of the sugar, which is weird because there's no corn in it, just because I think usually I kind of associate a little apple or that candied kind of flavor to some of the more of a corn in it.
This is more like a almost like a apple that's been flambéed or something. So
I'm getting like a hint of mint too.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, like a little bit of crushed, rolled in your hand mint. But once again, sorry, I look away, but once again, none of this is overpowering on the nose. And for being 61.5% alcohol, does not smell like that at all. Maybe 45, 47.
No, there's nothing real spiky on the nose to me. I mean, it's a really rounded, and the notes are just almost dense. I mean, it's like a multi-layer cake. Everything's really packed in there.
Yeah, and just from sniffing with you guys, it was almost like you mentioned something, and it was like, okay, I got that in here. And then the next time I went back, it was like faintly that, and then hunting, and then finding something else in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, very dense. Very nice here.
Yeah, and the pick was, and I wish I had looked more at it, but the Seelbach was the seller, but and they picked the barrel, but it was done by the I don't know. My mind's going somewhere really bad, but the Mid-American Whiskey Lover Society, or Mid-Atlantic Whiskey Lover Society. It just reminds me of South Park with the National Association of Marlon Brando lookalikes.
I can see that. Yeah. But when I had the first drink, there was a little bit of like alcohol burn, not a lot, a little bit, but nothing too scary. But I mean, for 61, I still think it was, I don't want to say nominal, but not as much as I would have thought it was.
Yeah, that's the only time on the taste is the only time I get a little bit of that anise, but it just it reminds me of like a Dutch a cobbler you make in a Dutch oven at a campfire, just because it's just so hot and intense and concentrated and everything. It's just there's just a lot of flavor there, but yeah, no alcohol burn considering what it is. It's really smooth.
Drinks well below the proof.
Yes.
I'm going to say I'm on the flavor. On the back half, I'm getting that black licorice more so. Front end, kind of that molasses. But on the back, then once again, that's me. So that's why I have you guys on here, because I don't think it's fair if I'm attacking attacking just that one flavor.
I think the molasses on the front end, honey, and I'm getting some black tea right there. And then the finish for me coming off, I'm getting a lot of that mint.
Mm-hmm. Especially after I swallowed and kind of took a breath in.
Yep.
I was kind of getting that, not really like a scope sensation because it's different mint, but that same, like where you can really feel it kind of coming in on that. But yeah, with the molasses, and that's nice on the front end. A little bit of honey, like you said, too.
Yeah.
There's some nice cardamom, cinnamon, I think, on the mid palate to me. Some of that baking spice kicks in there.
And it's not as much as I would have thought, considering the rye was so like heavy rye on that one. I would have thought maybe the cinnamon or allspice came through more. I do like it, but for me, I was going to say that the tail end on mine, where I'm still getting that black licorice, is what's pulling me away. I really like the 2/3 of the front 2/3 of it.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, knowing what I know about the bottle, it's a very balanced rye. I mean, I would not guess that it's that high in rye. I wouldn't guess it's that high in proof or anything. It's just it's very well balanced.
Oh, now that I'm 3 or 4 drinks in, it's not as powerful in the end, which is why I like to have a couple drinks of it or a couple sips of it, because that first initial response, I had a splash of Caval beforehand, but not like a full drink. I almost think you should have a full drink of something before you start tasting, just to kind of splash your senses in your mouth kind of around to what you're doing again.
Arthur.
Yeah, and I'm going to put that up, Arthur, but I like it.
Gotta take one for the team, Butters.
All right, I will. Sorry, just for you to then see, it is true. He did kind of, but yeah, that's true, Arthur. Yeah, and now the black licorice isn't as much, but I was getting more of the cinnamon and kind of like allspice in the middle. It all around is very flavorful.
Yeah,
like we were saying, how it's kind of layered with flavors. I almost feel like it hits the same way on your tongue, where it's like, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, and it's going down the line like that.
Yeah.
So I won't say it's as married together. It's not. That's kind of insulting because there's no like highs and lows or valleys to it, but each flavor kind of takes its half a second.
Yeah.
Kind of pops its way up and down through it, instead of like it just kind of being this consistent thing all the way through with a bunch of different flavors.
And what so the bottle is what they had said on there was it was a marriage of 2 unique barrels, which when united created a truly magnificent expression of how good a rye whiskey can be. Which I admit I love that rye punch on stuff. You feel it's like, you get that nice big kick to it, but it's really nice. I mean, it's a very surprising rye. It's a very, very surprising to me.
Yeah. And I'm really excited about this because some of the other ryes they're releasing are a lower proof. Like that young rye that I had before was like 61, 63%. And then like the new one, like in the standard release, is they lowered it to 51%, or it's their 51 rye. And I think they have another one that's a little bit lower. I haven't tried that one, but I feel like these are almost a better expression at a higher proof. Yeah. Because that was what I was afraid of, was that the other one had so much bold flavors in it. And this has kind of bold flavors, but they're not slapping you around like some other things do. They're kind of pulling you in a direction, but you're not getting like that slap to the side of the face with something you're drinking. And I'm happy that it tastes like this at 61%, because I was concerned the ryes were going to change. This would be right up Ed's alley. This is his total flavor profile. Right. He would be down with this.
So I got this last week. Santa Claus came early, and I've kind of turned into a Driftless Glen fanboy just based on the couple that I've got. But I got a message from Seelbach that said, "Hey, we have 2 more," and so there are two different barrels of rye, 2 single barrel ryes. I have not cracked either one of these 2 yet. I will crack them. I will send samples out to both of you guys. But one of them is 57 months. The other one's 56 months. But they are both 120 proof.
Nice. And
that's all I know about them. Other than I guess we'll find out.
Well, and that's what they're doing with a lot of the people with barrel picks. Apparently they're pretty reasonably priced, and then you can get it at that higher proof. The other thing on the sides of those bottles, I don't know if they do it on the new ones, but on each side of the bottle they have like an indented thumb and fingerprint of the owner, so it makes it way easier to grab and hold on to.
Yeah,
nice.
It is so cool.
I'm like,
it feels
it's actually
cool.
It's really
it's
nice.
Stupid, but it's like, this is cool.
I'm like, sometimes on those square ones, it can be a little slippy. I'm like, no, that's nice to get that little bit extra in there. And it's flair, and it's just different flair, and I like it.
No, it's nice, and I see it's got the Driftless Glen logo on the back. It's a nice, for a square bottle especially. It's pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
That one's not bad.
I just threw in a couple of drops of water on this to see what would happen. And I'm getting a little bit more of a lemon oil and a little orange zest coming out of it.
Okay,
really?
It really opened it up a little more. It doesn't feel as dense on the nose.
Now I got to pour some more. We're trying that. All right. Oh, it lightened up on the nose with just a couple drops too. Like nowhere near as dense.
Huh.
Yeah, like almost right before the mint, I got a little bit of lemon.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say it. I can see how some other people would like this, like a couple drops more, or maybe closer to that 51 better, because it would be an easier drinker, not necessarily smooth, but easier to just kind of pour back a bit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't get as much of the little kind of alfalfa green hay note, but I think I like it with the more layered flavor. I usually like a heavier proof whiskey, so that's just me. It's got nothing to do with them.
Right.